Good morning. Oh, I'm 2 minutes late. Sorry. Um, as usual, we have a lot of new films at our cinemas this week. Um, I've only seen a few of them, so I can't talk about them all. But there's Unhinged, the latest film by Russell with Russell Crowe, starring Russell Crowe. It only got released in many countries in like North America and around the world about a week ago. I haven't heard anything about it. I don't know. I don't know. It's about road rage. That much I know, but I don't really know what people have thought about it because yeah, it's been pretty quiet. So I don't know. Maybe people haven't even seen it. So that opened yesterday. There's also an Argentine film called The Weasel's Tale. I didn't see it. The screening was the other night, and I had a dinner to go to, so I didn't see it. And then there's a Danish film called animated film called Dream Builders. Also, I don't know, but I am going to talk about two other films that are opening this week. The first one is Upgrade, which I'll talk about now, and the other one, which I'll talk about next, is Light of My Life. Both of these films are not new, but they are new to Hong Kong. So the first one is Upgrade. If it sounds familiar, there's a good reason because it came out a couple of years ago, but it never came to Hong Kong. And now that our cinemas are open and they have to find content, Universal Hong Kong, Universal Pictures Hong Kong decided to go back a couple of years and release this film. Probably for, I guess, a couple of reasons. It's directed by a fellow by the name of Lee Wan-el, who recently released the film The Invisible Man, which got really good reviews. He's also responsible for writing, I don't think all of the films, but many of the films in the Insidious franchise and in the Saw franchise. So I don't want to say he's up and coming because he's already upped and come. But he's becoming more popular. Let's put it this way. So I think this was one of the reasons why they brought the film out now. The other reason I'll talk about when I'm finished. So this film, Upgraded, premiered at the South by Southwest Film Festival. Remember that? Film festivals where people actually went and saw films instead of watching them on their TV screens. Oh boy. Well, okay, it premiered back in March 2018, and it took home what they have, an award called the Midnighters Award. Wasn't it called the Midnight Madness at one point? But this is called, now I get whatever, it's called the Midnighters Award, and it's the section of the film festival that the website bills as, quote, scary, funny, sexy, controversial, and these are 10 provocative after dark features for night owls and the terminally curious. So it won that award. I guess people call that the Midnight Madness, other film festivals. Now the film Upgraded set sometime in the not too distant future. I think somebody actually worked out that it was 2046, but I don't know. It's sometime in the not too distant future because you have autonomous vehicles on the road, you have surveillance drones in the air. We already have that now, but they're very much more advanced than they are right now. And we have Gray Trace, who's a low-rent Tom Hardy. You sort of squint, you don't even have to squint, he looks like Tom Hardy. But he's actually Logan Marshall Green, and people might remember him. He had a small part in Spider-Man Homecoming. He was also in Prometheus. And Gray is a rather unassuming guy. He's an everyday guy. He makes a living repairing vintage vehicles, vintage gas-guzzling vehicles of all. So this is not too far in the future because you have gas guzzlers and you have presumably electric cars or some other non-gas moving vehicle. So he repairs vintage gas guzzlers for discerning buyers, while his wife Asha, who's played by Melanie Vallejo, she's an Australian actress. I've never seen her before, but she's on a TV show called Winners and Losers in Australia. She works as an executive for an upstart high-tech company. Now, one night they're out together and something goes wrong with their car, and they're attacked by a rather interesting group of thugs who kill Asha, and they injure Gray so that he's now a paraplegic. Now, these thugs have rather mysterious abilities. They're sort of semi-androids, something like that. We don't quite understand it, but they're not your everyday kind of thugs. And after Gray is left as a quadriplegic, he agrees to undergo experimental surgery offered by one of his clients billionaire high-tech wonderkind Aaron Keane, who's played by Australian actor Harrison Gilbertson. Now, I've said Australia a couple of times. That's because this film was made in Australia. Now, Gray's spine is inserted with a microchip known as STEM, not science, technology, something in math. I don't know what the E stands for. But anyhow, it's known as STEM, and STEM is voiced by Australian actor Simon Maiden. He was in The Dressmaker. And STEM allows Gray to not just gain full mobility, again, but it also provides him with enhanced capabilities as well. And fitted with this chip inside him, Gray and STEM embark on a quest to find the guys who killed Asha, but Gray quickly learns that the attack and the murder were not just a random event. There was a reason for it. So that's what the film is about. Now, don't expect a lot with Upgrade and you won't be disappointed. It is quite violent, I should warn you right at the outset. This is pure B-movie fluff. It's produced by Blumhouse, so right there, that tells you a lot. So it's B-movie fluff, but you know what? It doesn't pretend to be anything other than that. It doesn't have high aspirations, and so in that respect, it delivers what it says on the box. So, I'd say director Whannell, he keeps the action taut and gory, even if the story, it does borrow from at least a half a dozen other sci-fi films and even TV's Knight Rider, because he talks to STEM in his head and we hear STEM's voice. Now, it also throws in a few Easter eggs for those who know Whannell's body of work really well. So, I don't, but other people who do say, oh, there was that, and oh, there was that, and oh, there was that. So, if that's your thing, you're going to love this film. Now, at the same time, though, the story does go down a bit of a rabbit hole at the film's conclusion that doesn't stand up to close scrutiny when everything is revealed. So, you know what? Don't follow the plot too closely. And I think for his fans, for Whannell's fans, I don't think they really care, So, it is what it is. One sec. So now the question is Upgrade scary, funny, sexy, controversial, and provocative? Well, it's funny at times, but it's certainly not any of the others. If anything, I wish it would have been more provocative and get into some biomedical issues or biomedical ethical issues. But this is only a 100-minute long film, and maybe I'm expecting too much in too short a time. It was announced in May, though, and here's the thing. Here's another reason why the film is coming out now, at least in Hong Kong. It was announced in May that Whannell is currently working on an adaptation of the film for TV. And certainly it's, as you're watching this film, you're thinking, at least I was thinking to myself, this would really be, I don't want to say a good TV show. It would be, it's sort of set up to be a TV show. So it's happening. Now, the series will apparently pick up a few years after the events in the film with a new and improved STEM and a new host. Now, hopefully, Whannell will be able to deal with some of those meaty issues here in the TV show that he didn't deal with in the movie. I don't know. There's no word on when the show will debut, though, because of the coronavirus. So if you haven't seen Upgrade yet, and this is the kind of genre of film that you enjoy, B-movie, quite gory, quite violent, I'd say go see it. It's not horrible. It's not good, but it's not horrible. As it's already been out for 2 years, it's also available to rent or buy on the various services, various platforms. So you can watch it that way as well. So Upgrade opened yesterday in Hong Kong for those of us who can still go to movies. When I saw it, it was very interesting. I saw it the other day, and the cinema was full. I mean, there was only 2 seats next to me that were empty. I don't know that there were any other empty seats in the audience. I was surprised because I thought we were only allowed 80% capacity, but that was full. So I don't know what the story is. And now that the virus is resurging here in Hong Kong again, we had 34 cases yesterday. I don't know, I haven't heard if cinemas are going to go back to their 50% rule, which we had for many weeks. So stay tuned. All right, the other film that opened yesterday is Light of My Life. Now, this is Casey Affleck's, what do you call it? His opus, because he wrote, directed, produced, co-produced, and starred in this film. Now, for Casey Affleck, he hasn't had an easy time in some quarters of Hollywood since he was Me Too'd prior to his Oscar win in 2017. Now, I'm not saying that he should be let off the hook, because he's never apologized, and both lawsuits against him were settled out of court. But since that time, his films have not received the kind of publicity and success that they may have earned or deserved in different circumstances. Now, I'd say here, just as an overview, I think he does a really good job here. With this film, Light of My Life, doing all 4 roles. But the film's been a box office dud. It hasn't even broken $1 million yet, and it's been out for a while. Very interesting. So I think that also has to do with the virus, but still interesting. Now, the film opens, Light of My Life opens, with an unkempt man known only as Dad, who's played by Affleck, camping with his preteen daughter named Rag, played by Anna Pianowski. She's apparently in some TV show, which I've never heard of, but I don't know if this is her first movie, but it's certainly her biggest movie. Now, it's a warm scene between the two of them, as Dad tells Rag a rather protracted version, and protracted, I'm being very generous, a protracted version of Noah and the Ark, complete with a put-on Australian accent, and that's perhaps as a dig at Russell Crowe's cinematic turn as Noah from a few years back. But we quickly start to sense that camping is something that Dad and Rag have done quite a bit, at least lately. But they're not new to camping, let's put it this way. And that feeling is confirmed the next morning when the pair packs up their tent and belongings and sets off deeper into what looks like a Pacific Northwest forest. We don't actually know where this is, but it looks like the Pacific Northwest. It was apparently filmed in the British Columbia interior. So some people have said it takes place in British Columbia. I don't know that it was. I don't recall that it was ever said. I thought it was. I had assumed it was Washington State. Not that far away, but it doesn't really matter. Now, through flashback, we learn that the man's wife and Rag's mom, who's played by Elizabeth Moss, who was most recently in The Invisible Man, which I just mentioned. She was in Us, Her Smell, Queen of Earth, and of course she's most well known for TV's The Handmaid's Tale and TV's Mad Men. Now, Rag's mom and the man's wife, we learned that she had died of a virus when Rag was just a baby. And that virus, it turns out, ultimately killed off almost every woman on the planet. And Rag wonders if she's the last female human left alive. Now, we don't get an answer right away because winter is coming and Dad and Rag need to find shelter. And with men roaming around looking for the few surviving women, so now we know that, at that point, we know that she's not the only one, but there aren't many left, and they're looking for a few surviving women to keep as sex slaves. Dad has to balance keeping Rag safe with keeping them both alive. Because, obviously people want to take her and kill him. So that's what the film is about. Now, Light of My Life, it is a good film. I gotta say, it is a good film. But it's reminiscent of Deborah Granick's film Leave No Trace from 2018. It was a very good film. And John Hillcoat's The Road from 2009. Although Dad and Rag have different reasons for living off the grid than the other two pairs of parent and child. Now, even so, all these films, the one thing that all these films have in common is they feature mature performances by the young actors who belie their ages. Here, Anna Pianowski is fabulous, and I think she's 12 years old, something like that, 11, 12 years old. She's fabulous in this. She really holds her own against him. So that was good, really good. Now, while Light of My Life is a particularly timely tale, since we're in the midst of a pandemic, it unfortunately suffers from pacing problems, and some scenes could benefit from a generous snip from the editor's scissors. It's just like the Noah in the Ark scene is just way too long. Some of the other scenes just way too long. And what happens is some momentum builds, and then it sort of just sort of crashes, and then it builds and crashes. So it's very unevenly paced, which is rather disappointing. Now the film premiered at last year's Berlinale, so that's a year ago, February. Wow, God. And it's been slowly making its way around the world since its commercial release last August. So I said, it's been out for 11 months now, and it hasn't even broken $1 million. So it opened in Hong Kong yesterday. It's also available on the streaming services for those who are still waiting for the world to be right again. And good luck. Now, so if you can handle a film that burns slower than a frozen candle, and I'm telling you, it's slow, I'd say check it out, because I think it's a good film. It's thought-provoking, and it builds to a really devastating conclusion. So it's got good performances, and it's filmed well, and it's it's shot well. Just the slow, very slow. So there's it's a mixed bag, this one. So that's Light of My Life. That's the other film that I'm going to talk about. Next week, as far as I know, there's only one film opening, and I haven't seen it yet. I don't know if we're going to get a preview of it, and we'll see what happens. So I might talk about some other films. Who knows? Might talk about Hamilton. I saw that the other day. Okay, have a good week. Have a good weekend. If you want to check out any of my written reviews, go to my website, howard4film.com, howardforfilm.com. Don't forget to subscribe, or you can subscribe here and watch me. Have a good week. Have a good weekend. Please wear a mask when you go out. Take care.